bro, can I grab your bush?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Right on. Thanks, bro. Hey, bro, can I grab your bush too?
Sure, bro. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Now I can grab my own bush. Saipan, it's time to grab your bush. Pick up a 12-pack of ice-cold bush, and you're in for more than just a refreshing beer. Every 12-pack gives you a chance to win exclusive bush gear and more. So don't wait. Swing by your favorite store, grab your bush, and join the fun. Because here in Saipan, the best moments are even better with Bush. Grab your bush today.
I'm Ben Thomas. Congressional leaders are showing no signs of backing down on day 7 of the government shutdown. Sagar Magani has the latest.
While top Senate Republican John Thune continues blaming Democrats.
They've already voted 5 different times now to keep the government shut down.
What is John Thune doing?
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Republicans keep bringing up the same bill, expecting a different result.
That's legislative insanity.
After 5 failed votes, Republicans should understand they cannot go forward unless we come to a bipartisan agreement.
Chief Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer blames House Speaker Mike Johnson, who in turn says this is entirely on Schumer's gang to end.
We are pleading with the Democrats in the Senate to do the right thing.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
Meantime, the Trump administration's warning there's no guarantee federal workers will receive back pay once the shutdown ends.
It depends on who we're talking about. I can tell you this, the Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
National Guard troops from Texas have arrived in an Army Reserve Center in Illinois. President Trump plans to deploy them in Chicago, the governor in the city suing to stop that. The Supreme Court appears to be leaning in favor of a Christian counselor's challenge to state bans on conversion therapy. In Israel, mourning for the dead and fear for the remaining hostages as the country marked 2 years since Hamas's October 7th attack. The war that followed has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians. Peace talks underway in Egypt. Wall Street's rally lost momentum today. The S&P dropped 0.4% from its all-time high, while the Nasdaq lost 0.7. The Dow fell 92 points. And gold topped $4,000 an ounce for the first time. This is AP News. The NHL season's getting underway with the Florida Panthers raising a Stanley Cup banner for a second consecutive year. Gethin Coolbaugh has a preview.
Sam Bennett's team received their rings in a Monday ceremony and is going for the league's first three-peat since the Islanders' early 1980s dynasty.
We did the hard work to earn these titles, and we're not apologizing to anyone.
Others around the league, like Rangers forward Matt Rempe, are ready to get back to work.
Every year, fresh start type of thing. You get new opportunities, and you've worked all summer to be a better player, and you got to showcase that.
Connor McDavid's Oilers and the Golden Knights are co-championship favorites. The league will pause for 2 weeks in February for players to compete in the Winter Olympics for the first time since 2014. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
If you see something, say something. And stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
As the day unfolds with laughter and cheer, Brad's got the magic that brings us all near. Sharing tales of hope, dreams that shine bright. Good morning, Marianas, together we ignite. So join the palm trees, we dance through the days, with rhythm and soul.
Good morning, Marianas. Hey, it's 7:42. It is hump day. What is going on? My goodness. It is going to be a great one today. It was a late one last night, I can tell you that. We had 3 legislators in the House yesterday. We had Ralph Humel, we had J.P. Sablon, and we had Marissa Flores, all last night for the Off the Hill show, which was a lot of fun. It was great to be a part of. It was great to hear the conversations. Great to get your comments and your questions that we were able to send their way. And if you want to watch that, you can find it,
Yeah, I'll just cough. Why not? You can find it on our Facebook page. You can find it on our YouTube channel. But even better, you can find it on our website, NMINewsService.com. NMINewsService.com is the coolest, newest thing that we got going on. What? Really? Yeah, I know. But we got to tell you about it. I mean, it is a cool thing. We're going to tell you about everything else that's going on in this world. But what we do have is our show. In fact, you don't even need social media to watch our show anymore. You can just go to NMINewsService.com and catch up with all of today's top stories that are out there in the world, and you could be watching it. You go look at all our old shows and get you all caught up with everything. Pretty cool, right? Pew, pew. That's right. What's that? You want to advertise there? Okay. Don't worry. You guys just get in line. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to get through today, but in order to get to stuff, you need to know where everything is and how traffic is out there. And I'll tell you what, the school buses are out in force this morning. And I experienced it firsthand dealing with folks who, for some reason, felt like they're not allowed to pass school buses. Here's the rule. If the red lights are flashing, you cannot go passing those school buses. Other than that, it's fair game. Slow down if they're blinking yellow, but you can still pass them until they turn red. That's how it works. Not if they're almost about to stop. You don't want to be the one that mushes somebody, right? I mean, you don't want to be that guy. Anyway, let's take a look at traffic right now. Saipan's looking pretty good. A couple of hot spots you can see in our regular holdups, and let's take a look at this first one over there by Aslito Drive. This is about the time those kids from Saipan International School are getting dropped off, and nutrition assistance program is right there. So there's a lot of folks all built up. And as you make your way north on Chalmonsenior Martinez, you can see that there's a bunch of traffic. Where it really hits is after you get to the Shell Dandan and you try to take that left all the way to NMC. There's a bunch of cars. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to turn left to the Joten Dandan building. Whether it's the market or CUC or public lands or, you name it. Everyone's going there, so you're going to get held up. Might as well just go to Jabba Joe's and wait for it all to pass by and relax. Anyway, let's head down the hill, take a look. Everything's looking good by IT&E, the intersection that matters at the company where connections matter. Gotta love that. A little bit of traffic on the way by the AK light. Beach Road's looking mighty fine. A little bit of a holdup over there by the post office intersection. That's to be expected. Where it really starts to heat up, well, at least where it was heating up, is right over there by the subway intersection. So not too bad. Also, it's a little bit slow over by the mayor's dog control program. You can see there's a bunch of traffic there. Not sure why. I can't explain it, but I know that they're going. All right, we're going to go around the Back Island Road. Right now, you can see that there's a lot of traffic now building up over at the Shell Dandan intersection. So sorry about that. Everything on Issa Drive, though, is looking mighty fine as we zip all around the island. We scroll back by the Rodeo Drive of the CNMI, looking pretty good. Over there by Ina's Kitchen, I think traffic's building up because you can start to smell today's special already. Sunny and the team might not be in there right now, but man, maybe you could smell yesterday's special. It was so good. It's good every day over there at Ina's Kitchen. The only thing that they need really would be having a great deal on breakfast. If they had Ina's Kitchen for breakfast, forget it. Close down the CNMI. That's the only thing that we need. Not just for tourism, but for freedom. That would be amazing. All right, let's go through Puerto Rico. And you can see where it's definitely quite a bit of traffic over there by Marianas Heights 1 and 2. Folks trying to get up to Capitol Hill or trying to get back to the rest of the island. And then we're going to do the double-barrel look down Middle Road and Beach Road at the same time, where you can see there's a lot of traffic building up over there by the museum for folks that are heading south. Folks heading south and north over there by Sushi Spot. It's going to take a little while. Don't be in a hurry. That is, you know what? There is a school bus stop right at that location, and that's part of it. No excuse, though, for Quartermaster. It's backed up all the way back to Jenny's Auto Spa. And man, have you ever taken your car to a spa? I want to go to a spa for myself. Forget about the car. All right. Folks heading south over there by Fafa Place. That's the best street ever. Right there in Chalnlalao. Anyway, and then when you finally make your way back to IT&E, there's a little bit of traffic. But that's not too bad. All that is good to know. But you don't even have to worry about it if you hop on the Blue Line with Transit CNMI. It's only $2 to take you anywhere you want to go on the Blue Line, which is the best deal in town. You don't have to worry about how fast you're going. You don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about anything. They've got air conditioning, comfortable seats, beautiful buses, and it's amazing. $2 will get you anywhere you need to go on the Blue Line, but it's only $1 if you're active duty military, a student, a veteran, Monamco, or if you've got a disability. And if you want to find out more about everything going on with the Blue Line, it's 236-2682. Great deal. You know what else they have? Free Wi-Fi. Are you kidding me? Free Wi-Fi. It's the best deal, so you can be prepared when you're getting ready to go to that meeting, going to your next class, or when you're looking up that hot date that you're going to. You know, you can find out all the info you need to with that free Wi-Fi over there on Transit CNMI. I love those guys. They love us, so let's all be pals with them. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We have a guest that's going to be in studio, which is great. I can't wait. I am excited. I must be off by a day or something, but I think it's even better. Hold on, I got to change this now. Today, I put that in the ticker. I'm excited about that. I feel like I'm off by a day. I've been feeling like that for like a couple of days. I think it's just because I can't get out of this office. And it's a good thing. I love being here, but I can't get over how much stuff there is to talk about and get to. Some days I don't feel like I have it all together. Some days I feel like this.
Have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
Well, I'm sitting here having a funny exchange here with somebody who's going to be on with us in just a second. This is great news. Funny stuff, too. And but here, what we'll do, let's build a little bridge and talk about those NFL scores. We didn't get to all of them the other day because we were interrupted with a phone call. But real quick, just get you all caught up in case you didn't watch it. Yesterday, my fantasy football dreams of winning this week went down the tubes because the Chiefs lost to the Jags 31-28. And what a game. Back and forth. The folks in Jacksonville were loving it. Duval had the upset of the week. It wasn't the only one, but they definitely went off. And, man, again, back and forth, those guys. And came down to one last possession for the Chefs, and they could not pull it off. So there you go. But, man, I still lost in fantasy football because the guy who I needed to have maybe like 6 points got like 12 points. The other thing is, I knew that this was going to be a terrible week for me anyway, fantasy football-wise, because I have all these guys who are either hurt or this was their bye week. True story. And I'm not happy about it. You know who is happy about it? The guy who I played against this week in fantasy football. Again, he only beat me by a handful of points because he had the other 5. I think he beat me by like 6 points. And that just stinks. But like I had my defense got a -3 points. And I was down to my like last string running backs. And my receivers did nothing for me. And that's just the guys who were available. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. So now this week, so who else hurt me? Okay, so look, a couple weeks ago, James Conner went down, one of my running backs. I'm like, no, forget it. So I picked someone else up to fill in that gap, Braylon Allen. Bam, he's on the IR right away. I'm like, you got to be kidding. So I picked up Brian Robinson Jr., who's doing nothing. But The other guys who I got who are sitting on the bench, I can't do anything with them. Jalen Warren. I went a little Pittsburgh heavy. Because I got Jalen Warren, I got DK Metcalf, I got Calvin Austin because Austin was looking pretty good. A whole bunch of nothings because they were all out. The other thing is, though, the other good running back who I had, Bucky Irving, did not play. I'm like, come on, man. You guys are my staples. So I had to go Kyren Williams. And my backup running back, I'm all the way down to Jerome Ford. Not good. Josh Allen laid an egg. Jacoby Myers didn't do anything. I had to play Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. They didn't do anything. What's that? All right, let me change this again. So this is where I was saying, like, man, I feel like I'm off today because we had here. Let me change it back to where I had Thursday. That is what I had. It's so great. Well, thanks for coming. We'll see you again tomorrow. It's awesome. I'll tell you what, it can't be easy. It can't be easy living a busy life like that. And so the guests that we had scheduled for tomorrow, I was going to get them all mic'd up and everything. And I'm like, man, I really thought we had you scheduled for tomorrow. He's like, oh. And then he realized he had another meeting to go to. I'm like, no. All right, so we'll get you back tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we have Senator Manny Castro is coming in studio tomorrow to talk to us about everything that he's got going on with this new law that's happening, with the initiative that he has to do the leases to 99 years. And that's something. You know, the only thing funnier would, well, I'll put a pin in that one. But the good news is that he is going to be in here and be here with us. But while you guys are here, I will take advice from you guys. Take a look. I'll put the share screen on. This is pretty much Bruce Camacho is the fantasy football guy. Maybe not fantasy football, but he is a football guy. That's what I'm looking at. I got to change out these guys for this week. And I know they're going to be playing football in like 2 more days anyway. I could really get rid of Allen and, not Josh Allen, but Braylon Allen and James Conner because they are not, they're not coming back this season. And I can't even fill those roster slots. They're just there that you could slide people in there so you could pick up people later. I think I just have them like as a just in case. Like I can see like there's a lot of people that still have them as just in cases. But anyway, if you got any tips on where you think I should go with that, I'll take it. Feel free. Good morning. Yeah, too much Oktoberfest is right. Man, I'll tell you what, let's reach out to you guys. Good morning, Tobot Castro, the Tint Man from Dan. Great to see you. Connie, great to see you here as well. Thanks so much for dropping in and seeing us again today. Great to see you. He says, let's make my Melesso and Washington familia watch the show, and then he tags everybody. I love it. Dee Dee, Charmaine, Chaco, Jonathan, Danny. Good morning, all you guys. Hopefully you're in here. Annie Sablon, thanks for tuning in. Great to see you today. Woohoo! And, man, it looks like I got a little morning from someone from Red Cross today. I had a great first, what was that? Oh, my God. I can't say that. Man, oh my God, that is funny as well. Yeah, you guys, so you can interact with the show in many different ways. You could do it through our WhatsApp. You could do it through the comments section. You could do the comments here on Facebook. You could do it on the YouTube channel and everything. So I am fielding your comments, and they are hilarious. The comment last night. Ray Kitagua says, Brad, there's no Article 12, and I can prove it. All right, that sounds like that sounds interesting. Luis Cabrera, good morning. Great to see you. No baseball, I'm sure, with that weather yesterday, and the field looking terrible. Not good at all. Okay, hold on. All right, Ray. Ray says he can prove there's no Article 12, which is interesting to me. I am certainly interested in it. I wonder what that plan is. Yeah, happy hump day, in fact. Hold on, let me open this up. But there is an Article 12 in our Constitution. I'm just curious what you mean that there's no Article 12. But hey, that's interesting stuff. Let's see what this message is. 1 second. No problem. Excuse me. All right. Thanks, Louisa. So the pennant game is moved to Friday. Friday is the game, the pennant. That should be a great one. Everyone wants to see this game with the Cardinals, so that means it's going to rain. That's how it works. That's how it always seems to work when those guys play. And maybe, excuse me, maybe I'll be able to get out there and actually go to that game. That was the plan this week. But we had, literally, we had so much stuff going on, like for every night. And last night when the game was scheduled, I wasn't going to be able to do that either because I had the show last night, right? Yeah, we had Off the Hill. And if you guys didn't see it, oh, yes, bring your wallets and Dr. Peepers. That's right, because there's a 50-50 drawing on Friday during the pennant game. It's going to help send the U15 National Boys to Guam for their competition. So get out there. You got a chance to win, and you can feel good about that, too. There's also a lot going on this weekend. On Saturday, it is the Project Buddy Check golf tournament this weekend. Oh, yeah. I hear it. Ray said the Catholic religion killed it, and I have the docs. I know that's about the land ownership stuff. I remember you telling me something about that. Like, you were showing me that stuff at the Indigenous Affairs office when you guys were doing that protest years ago, and I went down there, and that's where we met in person, I think, for the first time. And you had all those docs there. You were telling me about that. That was interesting. I don't remember all of it, but I remember that was part of it. Yeah. No, I know, Tobot, you're right on that. He's like, hey, I've been living here for a while. I know there's an Article 12 because my kids can't own land here. Yep. It says, hopefully this cold clears up by then, or else the Dr. Pepper won't taste so sweet. Yeah, I know it. I'll tell you what, they tasted good last night. Yeah, after the Off the Hill, had a couple of Bud Lights and a couple of Michelob Ultras. They were fantastic. And it went great with the food that we had from Niao's Poke Deli. Not only the Poke Bombs, but the sandwich spread stuff. Holy smokes. Man, I was scooping that stuff out with those Tostitos chips like it was my job. It was so good. It was amazing. Niao's Poke Deli. I'm telling you, my gosh. So Floor Leader Flores stopped by Niao's Poke Deli and brought that stuff for us. And with some great sashimi as well, poke, not sashimi. The salmon was amazing. The yellowfin was amazing. It was so good. Absolutely loved it. And the mac salad. Holy cow. No, that's not Commissioner Macaroni salad. It was just macaroni salad. Oh, yeah. Carmen, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Hey, just a reminder, guys, the phone lines are open, 789-2323, 789-2323. So tomorrow, we're going to have Senator Manny Castro. He's going to join us in studio. And we're going to be talking about his Senate initiative that proposes a 99-year private land lease with added protections for NMD landowners. So, which is a good thing that he's got those protections added in there and all that other stuff. But how is that really going to work out? That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. Let's do this and move this down here. I have an idea. Sometimes my ideas are good. Sometimes my ideas not so much. But if you go over to the NMINewsService.com, you're able to see the story itself that we posted, along with the actual proposed legislation And it's there so you can read the whole thing. Nice and easy. That's one of the things that we do on the website. And you're able to scroll through the stories a lot easier. So you could check it out. So, and we got to put the handsome guy on there. I mean, there you go, Manny Castro. But that's the legislative initiative. It's right there. You can read the whole thing. And the goal is he's trying to spur some kind of economic resurgence. Now, you guys had some thoughts about it in the comments. Not here yet, although you can leave comments here at the bottom. One, I'm not logged in, and that would be neat to log into my own thing. But you guys can leave comments on there as well. And again, while you read the whole thing, and that's the important part. Good morning, Sylvan. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you, man, all the way out there in California. Hope all is well out there. It is a cool day here in the Marianas. It is not hot. It's not bad. It's pretty nice, but it's actually cooler in here with the air conditioning. True story. But it's a nice day. So that's it. So we talked about it briefly yesterday, and we're going to be talking about it more tomorrow when he's in studio with us. But again, it's to amend Article 12 of the Northern Mariana Islands Constitution to increase the term of private land leases from 55 years up to 99 years. And to require that private land leases include financial clauses that protect persons of Northern Marianas' descent from exploitation and ensure a fair share of potential upside gains. It sounds great, right? It sounds good in theory. But here's what I know, and reading your comments on our social media side, you guys are not in agreement, at least not 100% in agreement with it. You guys were saying that it may not be exactly what you like. And I'm scrolling down to find the social media part for you to see some of your comments. And I want to put them out there for you. Hold on, let me scroll through. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Yeah, that's where we're going to go. In the comments section. Oh, geez. Got a call coming in. Just a second. Ooh, there we go. Get down there. Holidays on Road. Thanks for calling the show. Who's this?
Yeah, for the Brad. This is Ray Kiruba.
Ray, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I just want to briefly say something.
Yeah.
In regards to what you were saying about Senator Manny Castro's initiative. Brad, the dogs that you saw those years ago, I still have them, and they're still alive as of today, according to the Lands and Survey, Mr. Song Tong and Mr. Wens Aquino. And here's why these legislators need to sit down and really look at what I have. Literally, if they're saying there's an Article 12, then why is the churches here from San Roque, Tanapa, Cristo Rey, San Jose, San Antonio, Tinian, and Rota are all owned by a Bishop of Guam, a sole corporation, since the title was initiated in 1968, 70, and 73. That's even before the covenant that created the Constitution. And the importance there is that these titles are still alive. This has to do, they were hiding the ashes of the Catholic diocese from the people of the Aparon case, Bishop Aparon in Guam. And to further this, Brad, former Congressman Dr. Robert Underwood took the initiative to talk to Monsignor James Benavente in 2019 on my behalf. The Diocese of Guam owns these lands here. It's not owned by the Diocese of Chalacanon like they were saying. These titles then never, it killed the last person that signed and lifted the pen up, it died, technically. And these titles, the government, I presented them since 2019 to the Lands and Survey of the lower house and upper house. Nobody wants to listen. I'm telling you, Brad, this is a life research of mine. And these are all certified PDF documents from Lands and Survey by Mr. Song Song and Mr. Wens Aquino. And this is what I've been telling everybody in the segment. There is no such Article 12 in existence, because what I have, it really needs the United Nations Judicial Court because of the stamping of the date of 1968, 70, and 73. Saipan was a land grab deal by the Catholic Diocese. And to you all, Toto Tano, if you remember Father Arnold was no ordinary priest. Father Arnold was sent by the Vatican in the early 50s to serve under the realm of Bishop Baumgartner before Bishop Felix Berto Flores. That's the truth. And I have it all in documentation signed. They were even dealing the Northern Marianas in Ponape. The churches were, I have it, Brad, certified by the government. And nobody wants to listen. There's no Article 12. People of the Marianas, that is a figment of your imaginations.
Now, is it possible? Sorry, Dispensa. Is it possible that like things can just be grandfathered in? Do you think that could have happened? Like they had that
It cannot
before?
it cannot because it contradicts the covenant agreement of 1975.
But if it predates it.
Yes, these titles were dated since 1968, 70, and 73, and they're still alive, confirmed by the Lands and Survey, Mr. Songso, confirmed on a PDF file. The one I showed you at the Indigenous Affairs, and I still have it, Brett. They're more than an inch thick of document going back before the creation of the covenant.
Yeah, so that's my question. Is it possible, if it predates the covenant, would it still be valid?
Yes, it predates the covenant, and it's still alive. The titles are all owned by the Bishop of Guam, the Diocese of... So this is what I've been saying. If there's such a thing in the Northern Marianas as Article 12, why does the religion, the Catholic religion, then have the right to own the land, but not the people of Guam, the true heirs of the Northern Marianas descendants?
I'm reading the last part of it just to see if there's something in here. In fact, here, let's just to share. So what I'm doing, I'm just looking. Usually when they do things, there's always some kind of a, these kind of legal documents and all that. Like
I know, and that's the crazy part. There's nothing to support that these lands were immune to the Catholic religion.
Well, I wonder. Somebody probably knows this like off the top of their head. I just don't. I have to read a little bit more. But my guess is that it says a permanent or long-term interest in land of the Commonwealth acquired by the corporation after the effective date of this amendment. So that doesn't matter because that's after. That's not before. I'm just wondering if it says something. This is about corporations, and would that be considered that? Probably not.
Even, the Saipan Community Church in Susupi and the school, that public land that was leased for 100 years, right after the war, and there's about less than 35 years remaining for the people to get that back. All that land there, that's not private land, that's public indigenous land.
Yeah,
and that transaction transpired during the trust territory when we were under the United Nations protection under UN Resolution 683.
Yeah. Well, also you got the land that's down there, like Memorial Park, and then where the Reserve Center is and stuff like that as well, right?
Yeah, everything that I have, Brett, I showed you, I still have it. And these are all certified documents from the government. They certified it.
Well, I wonder if it, with regards to this, I mean, there's not a whole lot there that talks about it. What's
yeah, like I was saying all these years, these are the kind of research that not a lot of people, or only a very few handful, will know what I'm saying. And these, I've never derailed from what I've held all these years, and I've been saying. I mean, I've never even asked the government for a single penny. All I'm saying is I need your attention to this findings of mine because it's going to affect the entire Northern Mariana people in the long run. Well, that long run is today. And you're going to change an 55 years to a 99 years lease. Well, let's solve the first problem. Is there really a 55-year lease in existence technically, legally? No, there's nothing. Because all these titles, these churches, and former Senator Victor Hoko knows about this. He can vouch for me.
Well, anybody, and they could. So, what do you think your recourse would be? Do you think you need to take it to court or ask for a certified question or something?
It needs to be certified through a process in the local courts. But honestly, because of the date of the stamp of 1970, 68, and 73, these were under the jurisdiction of the United Nations.
Okay. So
it needs the attention of the United Nations to clarify the wrongs of the pretext of the covenant.
Well, that sounds pretty involved. Understatement. Like, I can't imagine. So where would you go if you're going to reach out to them? What have you done?
I am trying to reach the people of Wuhan because I believe they have a voice in the United Nations, which we, the North, do not.
Interesting. And who's their representative?
I think it's U.S. Delegate Moylan, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, there you go. So have you tried working with our delegate to work with their delegate?
There's another matter that the U.S. delegate has in her possession and the Senate President regarding, again, the flag. Why? It boils down to this again. Everything ties to what I've been saying, and they all have that package prepared by the municipal chairwoman of the Saipan and Northern Islands, Ms. Maran Tudela, prepared a package for me just recently. I received it, and I'm waiting from the Senate President to have a sit down after the budget hearing for the Senate Mine. So that's the premise of where I am today with the Senate President and the U.S. delegate.
Wow, that is interesting. That is really interesting. Well, I mean, that's really good stuff. How did you get started on this?
But I believe it was a calling years ago when I was in California. I never knew nothing about these. I was being condoned because of my skin, my religion, what makes me a Chamorro in the United States. I've gone through hell. I've carried the people in my back because of that condonement on me. And when I raised the flag in 2016 of November, 2015, I'm sorry, the first time I initiated an international boycott protest, which I invited former Congressman Kilili. He denied he didn't want to stand with me in raising the flag. And that time I did not know it was illegal of my question of the MAR. But since Kilili sat for 16 years, he never knew that the United States encrusted in the CIA fact book that there was no MAR. It was called a wreath, and that wreath represented the Chamorro Nation. And that was in black and white until September of 2023. And I have it in that package stamped. Again, it was his staff, Mr. Robert Schwabach, that changed the fact book in the CIA fact module.
CIA fact book?
Yes. And that was even addressed to the Attorney General by former Congressman William Torres, who happens to be the legal advisor for the Saipan and Northern Municipal Council. He addressed the Attorney General on this matter. And even up to this day, the Attorney General does not want to answer. No one. He's the guardian of the Constitution and the seal and the flag of the cinema, and yet he does not want to answer this question up to this day since October of 2024.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about the flag quite a bit. The picture of the CNMI flag on the fact book looks like a Temu version of what the flag looks like. The ones that we see flying look a lot better than the picture that they have on the fact book right now.
Here's the crazy part, Brad, and I hope the government is listening in. And if you look up, nothing in the Constitution up to this day, since the amendment of 1985, confirmed in 1986, about changing the flag, there's nothing, and we've been searching, I've been searching, and a group of us have been searching the archive. There's no explanation why was it changed. You have to have a popular initiative or legislative initiative to change and amend the flag, but there has to be a problem to the flag. Nothing in existence today you can find that to support the flag. And second, nothing in the Constitution says that the flag has to be silk screen. Every flag flying in the cinema, it has to be super embossed, not silk screen. So you tell me, as a veteran, is that legal or is that illegal? That for me, right, is illegal in the Constitution. It's a big slap to the people of the Marianas. Why? It does not ever state in the Constitution that the government can silk screen it and fly in the courts, the legislature, especially in the public school system. And every day they raise the flag. They're incorporating lies to the children that they're raising their hands to our national flag. It's a lie.
Well,
it's illegal.
I don't know about the rules about silk screening or the production of the flag. I don't know that what the rules would be on stuff like that.
There's a rule, but it has to be a 2 by 2 by 2. Nothing no leaf can touch the limestone. And if you do not believe me, Brad, go to the Attorney General's office at Capitol Hill. Once you enter the lobby, look to your right side. The Attorney General carries the official seal and flag. Nothing, Brad, touches the limestone, only the star. And yet, every flag flying and the rest, from the courts, the legislature, to the governor's office, yet they're flying a silk screen. That's the truth. Nothing has been changed in the Constitution. It still stands as of today. All flags supposed to be super embossed, not silk screen.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Like for official flags and stuff like that?
Everything. Even in the U.S. delegate's office, it's illegal what they kept putting. They silk screen it and they put a yellow banner around it to make it look official. That's a disgrace to all the sons and daughters serving in the military. Why? I have a son right now who's in Qatar serving as we speak. And I even told him before he was deported, I will fight for you to be recognized in and honor all of those that have fallen in the past and those serving today.
All right.
Why they deserve the truth.
While we got you on here, so I'm looking into this, some stuff online. So I don't see the date of this, but this is officially in the CNMI records here. This is under Charter Day, and a designated holiday, and they talk about that being on the 7th day of January. Okay, that's fine. But where we go to is this the official flag. And according to what Wikipedia was saying is that the flag was adopted in 1985. So let's see what, this is the closest thing I could find about this. So there shall be, and there is adopted an official flag for the Mariana Islands District. Isn't that interesting? District, which shall consist of a white star superimposed on the gray laddystone, centered in the back. So this is like during the original trust territory times, right? The Mariana Islands District. So this one wouldn't be the 1985 version, but this is the one that this is the one that you were talking about there, right?
Yes. Okay. And for the people to even vote, why would you put the very most important question I bring up today at number 44 out of 45 amendments of 1985? Why would you put it in number 44? Let me tell you that this is my personal research perspective. See, our parents, my mom, my dad, and the rest that have voted that year, they never studied English. They were imposed by Japanese imperialism. They, by bomb, knew how to read Japanese, write, and speak Japanese. A majority of the elders, that was coming out of the war. That's a fact. So for them to have an amendment, and like my mom was saying, I didn't vote. I didn't know. And I said, you did. If you didn't know and you voted in that year, then you were duped. Because we didn't understand English. We were just told to mark. As long as we feel that we mark everything. That's what happened. And those are not just one. Those are a couple of testimonies that are coming out to those others that are still alive today.
Well, so I try to think about the best things and everything, and like we can look at all the amendments and go through one by one. and we can only speculate like why it was that far down on the list. I don't know where you'd put it. It's not. I don't know where you would put it, but here it is. This is the constitutional amendment number 43. It says a proposed constitutional amendment, and this is
when you look at that amendment, Brad. It says there has to be a problem to the original writing of the first, right? But there's nothing there. There's nothing. You would not find no problem by the delegates that time. They even broke the 90-day law to educate the people in order for it to be amended. It was less than 90 days that it went to the ballot. And that is a fact we found. It's a fact finding. And yet all those things really contradicts our existence today. Why? Because, man, I always stand in that notion of one nation to one flag. Even the United States, 50 states, but they're all under one flag, one nation. We're the only people in the entire world under the United States sovereignty protection that we acknowledge two nations to one flag. Even the enemies of the United States only represent one nation to one flag.
Wait. Explain that to me real quick.
But there's only one indigenous people of the Marianas. It's Chamorro. Why is it then that in the north there's two in the constitution, in the local constitution, that even says directly that the flower represents the Carolinian? Nothing even supports that the Gladstone represented the Chamorro. If you really look at it, the writing, everything was based on the NMD side. See, the Northern Marianas descendants, they're not the Carolinian. When you really look at it, before it was changed, you have to have 0.25% or 1/4 of blood to be indigenous to own land here. Mm-hmm. Yet they changed it to 1%. Now you have to be in the Marianas. Well, let's be factual. It was because of the League of Nations when they purchased the Marianas that created the covenant, because the Guam was a territory of the United States, like a trophy during the Spanish-American War. And then the United States ignored the North, but never knew until after the war that it was purchased by the Germans through the League of Nations. That's what created the covenant, because under the direction of the United Nations. And that's documented. But yet the United States really didn't know, I guess, didn't really know who were the indigenous people. But we all know there's only one. Well, if there's another Marianas, there has to be another Marianas.
So that's a good, that's a good point. So I know some of this conversation because we've had it before, and I've heard it, and I appreciate your point of view on it. The thing I keep coming back to, though, there's not some guys in a dark room that are like creating this, right? I mean, this is people from here got together at a table and made this conversation. So we go back 40 years ago. Into like 1985, who's sitting at those tables, and like it's
right now. I believe there's only two in it that are still alive. I believe Mr. Vicente Santos and from Sipit 8 Tunolo.
Right, and those are a couple of Chamorro guys, right?
They're the ones. They're the ones that sat down and negotiated. I believe the covenant.
Right. So from what I'm hearing, like what you're saying, and maybe I'm just interpreting it wrong. Like, if you got a couple of guys from here who are doing this kind of stuff, it's not like some people from off island are sneaking something in. Like they're in there making those determinations based on the people who they know who are part of their community, right?
And here's the crazy part, Brad. I understand what you're saying, but when I brought this attention to Kilili, and again in this package that the U.S. delegate has in her possession, how then did Kilili on his own, in black and white, and I have the letter, instructed Robert Schwabach to change that and put something that was never there, for where he even sat for 16 years. He never knew until 2023.
You're talking about the fact book with the
stuff,
right?
But,
but this document that we're looking at, well, here, I'm looking at it. It's not on the screen, but here. But this document right here is from 1985, and it says all that stuff in there.
Yeah, but really, when you look at it, the amendment, it says, in order for something in relation to that, the finding, there has to be a finding for the flag to be wrong, for it to be changed to a popular initiative or legislative initiative. Well, it went to a popular initiative. So, do you see any fact finding there? What was wrong with the original flag for the government to change it? There you will not find it, but we've been looking for it for years. Someone took it out and threw it away. There's nothing in existence, even at NMC archives. There's nothing in existence. It's gone. So how can you support something in the Constitution when the fact-finding is even not there? You can't even read it offline.
Right. Well, I don't know that they put all of that into the amendment. Let's just take a look at the next one. That is something different. In number 44, right? Amendment 44. This is just based on what you were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
And they're amending it to read this. Okay. Do not owe allegiance to a foreign state, qualify under this stuff. Person domiciled. So, like in number 44, I don't think that they're saying. I don't even see something that talks about findings for that one either. I'm like, is that a requirement for an amendment?
Yes, that is a requirement for a popular. You need to have a fact finding. What was so wrong with the original flag? That's the question, and they have to support their findings. Why it is so wrong?
Right, but they have to put all of that into the list of amendments?
Yes, they have to so that people can read and understand. But you will not find it because nothing, it was removed.
Well,
no one removed it.
Well, but for the purposes of this in 1985, these are proposals for folks to make amendments to all these different things. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top real quick. And I just want to see if there's any language that I'm missing at the beginning. But when they do these things, is this where you have to put, all the findings, or is that something that's just in a different
No,
document?
that you have to put all those findings. You have to have those findings. How can you? It's just like you're in a court. You have to present evidence for you to win your case. Now, how can this be considered a winning case when the evidence is not there to support what was changed? It's illegal.
Well, if look at all the people who signed these things. Everybody who was there, saw all this stuff. They're all folks from here. This goes for every single amendment then, because it doesn't look like there's...
But if all those people that signed are still alive, let's say 70%, or if they were still alive today, and if they were to reopen this and ask each and everyone, did they understood what they were writing? I'll guarantee you, Brad, even my mom is still alive, and she's 97 years old. And she's still alive. And her brain is so sharp. She goes, no, we didn't. I did not sign for the flag to be. I go, but did you vote? And she goes, yes. Then I go, then you are part of it. She goes, we were lied to them. We were cheated out of our right to understand what was supposed to be for the government to make us understand. And we were lied. And not a lot of people today are still alive to vouch. But yes, there's still some that are even claiming they never voted for that, but yet they voted. And when I explained to them, they were like in red eyes because they never understood.
Well,
they were lied.
So I think the big question I have for you is you talk about Ray, we'll take your call in a little bit. Somebody else is calling. Are you still there? Someone else is calling us. All right. No, so Spencer, stay there. Sorry, someone else. There's someone else is calling. We'll take their call after. But real quick, in the you're making a thing about that there has to be all the findings and everything that are listed in that proposal right there. And I'm going to go back even further in time. I know it's not apples to apples, right? So hear me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the U.S. Constitution, and then there's the first 10 amendments are the Bill of Rights. And there's nothing that says in there by a finding of this, and this is why we're going to change to this, why we're going to change the Constitution to this. So the only reason why I bring that up is because you're saying that basically the amendments are invalidated because there's no fact finding on there that says that they need to change something. And I don't know if that's accurate. You know, I got to get a little bit of leeway for my ignorance on it, but
I mean, but if you ever want to really see these documents that I'm saying, even the one that the Senate President and the U.S. delegate has, these are the only two people that has this package that I'm waiting for a sit down with them. But I'm willing to sit down with you and share with you and explain to you. And like I said, I put my life, how many years of my life into this, and I'm not even seeking any compensation. I'm just seeking the government's attention, their ears, and their hearts and their brains to work on something that I'm saying there's just a problem. What if this, Brad, let me tell you this. If there's a couple of people from Guam that are still not yet paid by that Bishop Aparon case. Now, if all these lands in Guam are liquidated and there's still balance of payment to be made, guess what? All these churches here in the north will be liquidated in the court process in order to compensate. Why? Because it's owned by the Diocese of Guam. So you tell me, if that happens, was there really an Article 12 in existence to protect that interest? No.
Well, I think it's a good point, and it's an interesting way to look at it for a couple of different things. But I appreciate your point of view, and so I appreciate you sharing it. It's a great conversation, though, right? I mean, it's good stuff. Hey, I got another call coming on. Let's grab this one. But thanks so much.
Thank you, Brad. You have a blessed day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, here we go. Holidays on T Road. Thanks for calling the show. Who's this?
Good morning, Brad. This is Ray, Brad.
Hey, Ray. Sorry about that. We were finishing up that other call. I couldn't get you in there too.
No, it's okay. You're a busy man. Hey, Brad. I don't mean to contradict or debate with the caller, but he has to understand that when the ratification of the covenant in 1978, the people of Sinamay were called Northern Marianas descent. And that's how the flag was revised. Because when you say NMDs, right, it doesn't say indigenous. So there is no such thing as indigenous in the covenant. It says Northern Marianas descent that represents the Chamorro and the Carolinians. I'll give you a scenario. Your dad or your mom adopted a child, right?
Yep.
That child is entitled. That needs to be understood. It was decided by the covenant negotiators with the United States. So there is no existence of indigenous in the Marianas. It's called Northern Marianas descent, not indigenous. So those things needs to be corrected and follow the covenant. That's the new covenant. That's the new negotiating agreement with the United States and the Commonwealth. Has nothing to do with German, Spanish, or Japanese. That era is gone. So let's not make that an issue. I love the Rafalawas family. I love the Chamorro family. Let's not make it complicated. Except because it was adopted by the negotiators and by the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Going back to the subject, a different subject. It just kind of irks me sometimes when your father decided and you don't have no say, and your dad and your mom decided to adopt, and you're going to go against your mom and your dad's will. That's not Chamorro. Anyway, going back to the Article 12, the new 24-3 initiative. Right, Brad? Are you there?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Well, that's a very. It's like it's the Article 12 is like poking the bear. I know the intent of the initiative was to revive our economy, and it's going to be put out. It's going to be a legislative initiative. However, I have some issue with Article 12. When you go around Sinamay, or here, particularly here in Saipan, how many abandoned buildings leased by foreigners or investors? It's an eyesore. And Mr. and Senator Castro is trying to make it 100 years. Manny likes to reflect on the customary or the tradition of the Manamco, back in the days. And if he was to come up with that idea back in the 70s or the 60s, they would scold him, right? Because the intent of the land is to pass down generation after generation after generation. And look at us. Now my generation inherit land from our parents, right? So Article 12 is not really an issue, because we have so many lands here in Saipan right now that are being abandoned during the factory year. Go from Tanopac down south to San Antonio. How many factory buildings or commercial building has been abandoned? So doesn't that say anything to the amendment of Article 12 from 55 to 100? Brad, in the covenant, it says exploitation. And the intent of that 55 to 100 years is another definition of exploitation. And I just wanted to share that with Manny, that, such initiative, it's going to put a lot of our there will be disfranchise, just like Hawaii and Guam that's going on right now. And we don't have the numbers ready in homelessness, but you see it around. And what hurts me the most is our people. It's our people that are living on the street because their parents leased out their property. Now they don't have property. And here's the funny thing about Sinamay, Brad. When your parents passes away, you as a Northern Marianas descent is not eligible to get homestead. You know that?
Wow. Yeah.
That's the messed up part about it. So those people are Northern Marianas descent whose parents have already passed away. Those children, the future children, the children of that generation cannot be eligible for homestead.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's in the regulation.
Ray,
so what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with these kids that it wasn't their fault that they become landless because they have only one land and they leased it out to investors? Now the building is abandoned or the land is abandoned because no one is trying to make profit out of it because of the economic recession. I just wanted Manny to really think about that, because our belief, our culture is to pass down generation after generation to make sure the next generation have land. The Bisangan, and I'm going to say this, if the Manamco was talking to Manny, he would say, Parafite, forget about money. Make sure that your kids have land in the future. That's what the Manamco would tell him. And I know he's way younger than me. So if he's really going to practice tradition and culture and our custom, he's contradicting his words. That's all.
I've got a question for you real quick. So it's a really good conversation. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, who's NMD, and I was telling, we were speaking about the Article 12, and I was sharing about, what I thought about, if you get rid of Article 12, where I think what would happen to the CNMI with regards to, all these other people from outside buying and, all that other stuff. And what she told me kind of changed my perspective because she was more upset because she thought that the way it's written, it's like that she's not able to do what she wants with her own land. And I understand it, and I can see the argument behind it. But again, she's a different generation where you're at, right? She's younger than me even. So
but let me give in a different perspective in terms of what transpired in 1980 and 1990, right?
Okay.
During the Japanese era, during the Japanese investment here in the CNMI. You know how many people back in 1980 to 1990 became millionaires overnight because of land transaction? A lot of them make poor choices. A lot of them make good decisions because they invested their money. But for those people that did not invested their money, thank God Article 12 is there to protect them. Imagine if we don't have Article 12. Can you just imagine if we don't have Article 12 and you make the bad decision because you don't understand business strategy or economic strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to your kids now?
I agree. The question is for me though is, and for me, I'm cool with it, right? I'm glad that we have Article 12. I can't own land, so that kind of does suck. But I mean, like, how long am I going to be around for anyway? But the bigger picture is the reason why I don't have an issue with it is because, I hear the counter arguments from people in different communities that say, no, we don't lose our culture. The culture is not tied to the land, and I don't think that's true. I think that the culture of the CNMI, if you keep Article 12, has a lot better chance of being, hanging on for a longer time than if you open it up. I mean, nothing bad to say about people in Guam, right? But look at, it's only recently when people started using the language again and trying to speak and practice the culture. And how many times have we had conversations with folks from Guam who love coming here and hearing people talk and hearing kids talk in Chamorro or Carolinian. And I think if you end up getting rid of Article 12, I think a lot of people who took advantage of the benefits of that Article 12 gave them to get land in the first place, they're the ones who are going to benefit from it. And I think you're almost taking away from the future generations that'll never be able to own land here because of for the same stuff. They didn't have the same earning potential as folks from off island who are going to be able to who do the same job and work just as hard. They won't be able to own their own land, and we end up looking like a Hawaii, where where
that is so true, Brad. And you hit the nail right on the head. And I'm not just looking at 15, 20 years from now. Okay, and we're looking at the next door neighbor, right? Guam and Hawaii, right? Mm-hmm. Where many of our native people from this particular islands are disfranchised because they become landless, right? For many people that understand, like my dad will always say, your land is your diamond, meaning you can live forever, generation after generation, and continue to live on that land. And you will never be landless if you protect what you inherit in the past. Right? I mean, everybody wants to be a millionaire overnight, Brad. Right? How many of those people that sold their land in the millions in the 80s and the 90s are broke? They're back to square one where they're at in the beginning because they didn't understand investment. They didn't invest their money right. Mm-hmm. Right? And yeah, no, money is the root of all evils, right? And when you get money, you get blindsided. You know, you buy a D8 pickup, boats, left and right? Because you're so out of control. Like lottery, you spend millions of dollars, and then you're broke in 10 years or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're back to square one. And this is where sometimes I speak up when it comes to Article 12. You have Article 11. Lease that for the next 150 years, who cares? Right? Because that's public land. That's the purpose of DPO was established with real estate to invest public lands to generate revenue. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to dictate private land. But I'll give you a scenario. Back in the 80s and the 90s, many of them are protected Article 12, and they're so thankful. And they should be thankful that Article 12 protected them, and they still have their land under their name. Imagine it was exploitation. Man's intention is exploitation. 55 years is too long. Wait, that's 3 generations waiting for land. And I'll give you, and like I said earlier, once both your parents are dead, you're not entitled for homestead. So where are the kids gonna go? They're gonna rent. You know, so sad is when you drive around Garapan and you see, or anywhere in Saipan, and you see our people renting property or renting apartments.
Yeah.
That sucks. They shouldn't.
I hear you.
Yeah, it should. It really pities me, because I ask myself, why are they renting apartments? Why isn't the Department of Public Lands to aggressively issue homestead? That the NMDs are entitled to have homestead. Why our leaders are sitting around watching our children struggle to pay rent, struggle to pay their own mortgage? Why? When the public land is there to provide the benefits for our people, it's in the covenant. This is the thing. I am not really care. I really don't care about outside influence, right? People can come here and dictate. I bet you, Brad, that if they abolish Article 12, you got millionaires, billionaires from the Asian region will come here and will buy us out.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. You remember when IPI started coming in and buying everything up, and then all of the real estate went through the roof, right? And like a regular house was unaffordable to everybody. Like the idea of having a family and a house that has more than one bedroom became almost completely unaffordable and out of reach to somebody who has a regular salary, working a legitimate local government job. You cannot afford to rent. It's awful. And so now it's starting to come back a little bit, right? Now that that bubble has burst, if you will, because those guys aren't here anymore. They don't have that investment. And it's starting to be affordable all over again. And that's just renting. So what happens if when that goes away again, we're going to find ourselves in that same situation?
I think inflation right now is just really a fraud for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Department of Commerce needs to really go out there and really investigate all these stores. The United States inflation has declined by 3.9%. Right? So I don't think the inflation will be an issue here in the Sinamay. You know what? The best idea, Brad, that I would assume that will be just benefit everybody, whether you're from here or from outside Sinamay, sales tax. Everybody pays into the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if sales tax is a way to generate revenue, then why not? Washington has sales tax. California has sales tax.
New York has sales tax too. In fact, we had there's two sales taxes. We had one for the state and we had one for our county. And it's crazy how much taxes that we paid, but you get used to it, I guess. It's like that frog in the water where they start cranking it up little by little. But the thing is that if we end up doing doing a sales tax, we have to make sure we get something out of it. Like, we have to get a real improvement in our services, get a real improvement in what we've got, instead of just getting a bigger government. You know, not just getting someone else that has a fancy car or a fancy desk or a position.
Correct.
Like,
Here's the truth, Brad. Here's the truth. Our elected leaders know damn well that during the ARPA time, a lot of people were hired. A lot of people that were hired under ARPA were converted to civil service.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what caused bloated government. If the governor right now does not see that as an issue, then he must be sleeping. You cannot function as a government entity and then your private sectors are struggling to pay their taxes.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that balance the economy. There is just no way. You have to encourage private sectors to grow and thrive versus government bloated with duplicate position, abuse and misuse of funds and misuse of vehicle. And here's the thing that I'm finding very difficult. I don't like the legislature. We're not going to do it because we have $7 million budget. The central government say, "Oh, we're going to do 4 furloughs and layoff and whatever, why not?" Right? So why is the legislature not willing? They're getting freaking $32,000 with the supplemental or the subsistence allowance. They're getting over $60,000 a year, not accounted for, and they can go out there and spend however they want it. So when you really add that up, they're making almost $100,000 because that is their discretionary funds. They can pay whatever. But is that their money, or is that the taxpayers' money that they should be accounted for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Somebody gives me a discretionary fund, and I'm gonna go out there and buy cars and whatever. I'm not being accounted for, and I don't have to explain it to me. And another tactic that a lot of legislatures or senators or congressmen, they lease the vehicle from the private dealership, and then 2 years or 1 year before it pays off, they take over and pay off the rest. Would that be considered fraud?
Yeah, you know, when you do those lease vehicles, you're not supposed to have the inside track. I mean, the ethics rules about saying, I know that's how it works. I know it because I've seen it. I've seen, like, you see a lot of that through, like, PSS for sure, but other offices as well, where, like, they get in there and then they get that special deal on that car that they have been leasing as that secretary or whatever.
That's different, Brad, because legislature and executive and procurement supply regulation is intact. But we're talking about the legislature.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about legislature where they lease those vehicles. And if they lease those vehicles, they should put a government plate.
I agree 100%. So not only that, so they came out with a thing that said, when we talked about this when I was in Guam last week, we went through and we were reading the laws that allowed them to not have a government plate and allowed them to have window tinting on their government vehicles.
You know why? You know why they don't want to put a government plate on their leased vehicle? Because the darn family are using it for personal errands.
Oh, guaranteed.
Right. So if we really are in a sturdy measure, I encourage the community to start taking pictures. Start tracking these cars down. and post them and let public auditor and the AG's office prosecute all these employees or they're misusing the government vehicle. I've seen police officers. I was at fishing base, park, okay? Like this is after 4:30, right? Park. That government vehicle that's parked there, it's been running for almost 45 to 1 hour, parked, while he's out there talking and learning about fishing. See those? See all those waste of funds?
Yeah.
See, and here's the attitude of a lot of government employees. They don't really care. They don't really care whether the government goes bankrupt because it's not their money and they're getting paid for it, for being a problem to the government.
So Ray, I've got it on the screen now. This is this is back from like 10 years ago, and it was offered by Frank Cruz and Jude Hofschneider, March 13th of 2015. That's when it was offered standing committee reports and all that other stuff. So, and it went all the way through this September, but they wanted to change the Government Vehicle Act of '94. And it says, and they were talking about how the judiciary was able to tint their windows so their car can't be singled out in a distinctive manner. So then here's what they said. It says, similarly, the legislature finds that for security and safety reasons, it's necessary that elected officials be exempt from tinting restriction and government license plate requirements by the Government Vehicle Act. And here's where it gets fun. It says, recently there have been controversial issues and legislation in the Commonwealth that have given rise to protest and aggravation among the people. These issues include the crash of the retirement fund, casino matters, land compensation disputes, and the increased criminal activities around the islands against the residents and visitors alike. Some of these controversial issues are pending and others, such as the casino, but stiffer criminal penalties are being implemented. The legislature finds that regarding any controversial issues, there's always people that are unhappy and disgruntled with the decisions of elected officials. Therefore, the people will protest and directly express their frustrations to the elected officials responsible for addressing such controversial issues. This sometimes creates a dangerous and hostile environment for elected officials. Moreover, sponsoring or supporting criminal laws with stiffer penalties make elected officials an attractive target for criminals that are angry with their sentences or punishments. Thus,
Brad,
yes.
that's BS.
I agree.
Have you heard anybody from the cinema being assassinated?
No.
Right? No. So that's invalid justification. I truly believe that any vehicle paid by taxpayers and it's a government vehicle issue, they should have government license plate.
Yeah, listen to this. It even says elected officials cannot effectively protect themselves from harm while traveling on the road in an untinted vehicle clearly visible to everyone and easily identified with government plates. This is what they're saying. I agree with you 110%. I think it's a bunch of garbage. And this somehow, this thing slid through. I mean, like, if you want to pass a law that says, I don't need government plates and I need windows tinted so I can bring my side business in my vehicle with me and nobody can tell. I'm like, come on. You know, like that's, it's crazy.
Let's be real. Okay. You know, it only these what's right, not what's right for them. What will please them and put them in office?
Ray, are you moving around? Hey, Ray, you're breaking up. Are you moving around? Did you go to a bad part of the house?
No, I'm different. You know, I mean, I agree with you, Brad. This is just baloney. And why is the elected leaders, the legislatures against slashing their $5,000 allowance, subsistence allowance? Why? Because they're comfortable. They can see all of us struggle and they could care less. Because if they really do care, they will slash that money. Slash it or deplete it or abolish it. Okay, and the purpose of that $5,000 is to assist leaders from Rotan Tinian to travel here to conduct session, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're married to somebody from Saipan and you're living in her house or his house, you shouldn't be entitled to provide $5,000 because you're already living. You're not paying rent.
100% agree. So here's what here's the Brad plan on that is that you get rid of all of that, and the reason why the folks from Saipan get it is because remember the late Senator Luis Crisosimo was like, hey, if they're getting it, we should get it too.
That's the problem,
right? But if we ended up doing it differently, where we had first of all, if you're going to represent the island of Rota or the island of Tinian and you have to do business here in Saipan, the expense of that should not fall on that person to do their job to represent their folks, right? So there should be a vehicle. They shouldn't have to buy a separate car and they on their own personal, right? And they shouldn't have to pay for their own house on their own personal. So I think it's really simple. Let the Legislative Bureau go through procurement regulations to find the least expensive car that they can, and then also let the Legislative Bureau manage it with maybe through their relationships with Public Works or whatever, public housing for those senators and representatives from those islands that is 100% paid for by the government. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
That's a perfect example, Brad. I think, Brad, you got it.
Once in a while, Ray. Once in a while, I can figure things out.
No, Brad, but when we put people in office, or we elect anybody in office, they're there to serve our people, not to serve their personal interests.
Mm-hmm.
You know that philosophy in the elected leader position is scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
Yeah.
And you know what scratch my back, right? Yeah. Put something in my pocket and then I'll entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's not how they should represent themselves, because that's a misrepresentation for the community. You know. And also funny, Brad, when I was with the public school system, we get paid decent salary. We can't even afford to build a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
But you have these people that legislators are making $32,000 per annum and they have 2-story house. How can they afford that?
Exactly.
You figure out the rest.
You know
what I'm saying?
The thing is, Ray, if we end up doing that, if we end up taking away that, you know what I would really like to do, though? I mean, and this might not be the best time to talk about it because of the austerity, but our legislators should be paid more. You know, $32,000.
Correct.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like enough money for them. And the other thing is, you want them to be immune to like some of that corruption stuff, right?
Correct.
So that like when you're struggling like that's why judges get paid so much, right?
Correct.
Aside from their experience.
To some extent.
Yeah. And so like I think if you doubled the amount that the legislators make and you took away that extra account stuff, I think we would spend less money and we'd get a better product from our legislators and from, they'd be better. And then they would, I think it would just be better all the way around if they ended up getting double.
It's an old saying, Brad, we get what we pay for, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them up at the legislature, I know them personal level in terms of intelligence. Okay? But that's what people wanted to do. That's what who they wanted them to represent.
Yep. Hey, Ray, we've been on for a while, and I've had one caller call me about 1,000 times. So I will try to get them in on there, too, if you don't mind. Oh, geez, you still there? Did I just lose you? Hello?
Hey, Brad. Sorry, I think you're about ready to wrap up, but I was just every time they bring up Article 12, it just bring out it's like they wake up the lion.
Yeah.
Because I'm not only thinking about myself or the next generation. I'm thinking of the generation to come. And what really bothers me the most, it's our own NMDs that are.
All right. Are you still there? Hello? I think we lost you. All right. Hey, I'm going to take this other call while we're waiting here. 1 second. Holidays on Tier Road. Thanks for calling the show. Who's this?
Hey, this is David Evangelista from the island of Tinian.
David, good morning. Hey, you slipped in.
Good morning, Mariana.
Yeah, it's funny. I was on the phone with Ray, and his phone dropped out, and you were calling at the same time, so I took it. I can see Ray's calling back. Ray, we'll get you again, but right now we've got David Evangelista, who just called in while your phone dropped out the same time. Okay, so Dave, what's going on?
Yeah, I just text you on WhatsApp regarding the Marina. It's another issue.
Oh, yeah. But right now, what we've been doing, we can get to that, but we've been talking about what's going on with this stuff with Article 12.
Oh, yeah, DPL.
Well, and with the private lands. This has been the suggestion by Senator Manny Castro about.
That's a good thing too to extend it to 99 years, so that we have leverage and invite more foreigners to lease in longer and invest. The local people investing longer, so that it invites them in to invest, because they cannot own the land. That's one thing. That's one of the mechanisms of inviting the investors to more attract them. I kind of agree on that in these trying times, but Senator Manning is trying his best to invite and attract more investors in, because it's a longer lease. But there's always a ripple effect on that too. But long story short, Brad, it is what it is. We have to bite it by the bullet, and move forward instead of dwelling on the past. I totally agree with that gentleman, that what he's saying, protection and wasteful spending. I think Tinian Road shouldn't be taken off of the subsistence of 5,000, because you're displacing them. I think the majority cuts should be in Saipan, because you're living there and you're receiving allowance, subsistence. You're there already on Saipan. You're not displaced.
Totally agree. The folks from Tinian and Rota should not have to pay out of their own pocket. That's for sure.
Right, and you're displacing them. Yeah, you're displacing them, and they have to fly over there. You feel me? Now, another thing about this NMD stuff and all this bureaucracy of who rightfully owns the Marianas public funds. Well, Brad, those investments should be used to build infrastructure, because all those lands that have been given out here on the island of Tinian or in the cinema, they've been given out without infrastructure.
Yeah.
And let's say, for example, West San Jose on Tinian. 8 years in the Don administration, the present administration, they don't even report back to the people how they will put water into, at least water over at West San Jose residential homestead.
Well,
when I used to be the advisory board, for DPL, Brad, I advocated I advocated for infrastructure funding. You don't just do a program without infrastructure funding. And then you just leave it out there in the ocean like a floating a boat, floating device without any sense of direction. Where going on? Only the current is just taking us wherever the current wants to go. There's no sense of projection and planning. And until now, forever, the municipality of Tinian and Saipan, they're still renting. There is no public land for public office for the people to, why are you still renting? For everyone to be in line and do a one-stop shop permitting, paying all these permitting stuff, license.
Yeah, that would be easier.
And then DPO, Brad, Senator Duke came out and put up a memo regarding you have 1 month to exchange your land. How about expediting the permits to clean our homestead? It's enough already. They reduced the 10,000 square meter back to 5,000 only when we are at the future already. This is the future now. We are the future right now. And you're prolonging the people to upgrade your standard of living. My God, it's trying times now, and we need to farm. We need to grow our vegetables and fruits, so that we could have that subsidy.
Ray, over there in Tinian, where is the main place? I know that folks have stuff in Marpro Heights, and I know that there are folks over there in Carolinas and in San Jose, but there's a lot of land that's out there. I don't know what's public and what's private. When I start driving all the way to the south, around the south end of Tinian, is that private land? Or is that land that could be homestead?
There's public land there. The public land over the west side, I would say, when you're making a drive to NMC,
mm-hmm.
Right across NMC Tinian is where the west side would say residential homestead.
Right.
During Mayor Santa Claus, a.k.a. Sandia, during his term, he issued out the lot. Unfortunately, the guy is caught between the rocks and did not make the second term. He lost in the second term. But his plan is to put infrastructure in there when he gets elected the second term. But unfortunately, he didn't get elected for the second time. So Adan came in. De La Cruz came in, and then JP won over De La Cruz, and then now it's Mayor Adan's term. For 8 years, this administration has failed to put at least water infrastructure into West San Jose Hotel residential homestead. The leadership of Tinian fell on that part. Let's just be true here. Like Governor Apatang, no lies here. This is the truth.
Is that the municipality's responsibility, or is that something like is CUC supposed to plop that down?
DPO and the administration, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a big failure.
Everybody's pointing fingers. Who is responsible for infrastructure, Brad?
Great question.
Even here at the Marpro Heights 3, when I used to be the DP Hill Advisory Board, Brad, there's 459 lots here during my term as an advisory board for a short term of 3 years when I used to be an advisory board.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been picked up already. And then now, They don't have any feedback when infrastructure will go in, where and who is going to build it, who's going to fund it. So I'm saying if you can take money from MPLT and fund settlement fund, how about we take Marianas Public Trust Fund money and build this infrastructure on the residential and agricultural homestead for the CNMI, because it's for the NMDs. It's for the local people that owns that. You know, it benefits the local people. Very simple common sense. Do we have to vote for that again during the election?
Wow.
No, Brad. Let's talk about the Department of Lands and Natural Resources and put up the picture of, because only Rope is holding that marina, the slip to park the boats.
Oh, in Tinian?
Yeah, on Tinian. I gave you those pictures. There's 2 pictures there that I sent you.
Yeah.
On WhatsApp.
We're going to put them on the screen.
Yeah, put them on the screen so the public can see what's going on with the marina for this fishermen. It's unsafe.
Yeah, it looks terrible. By the way, though,
yeah, look at this.
Even those,
you know, this is the Department of Lands, and they failed 8 years of administration. After you two, until now, they haven't fixed that part.
It is held together by rope.
It's unsafe, and the boaters are still using it. Only rope, a rope is holding on to those slicks. Yeah. Only rope.
And it's
a disgrace for the fishermen. How in the world are we going to prosper here when your infrastructure is not fixed?
Well, I'll tell you, Dave, that first step is a doozy.
It's only a rope. That's all. This is what What if somebody is breaks their leg in that hole, or into the part, or a kid swimming there, and they just get into an accident. Then what are you going to say next?
Well,
you should have parental guidance. With not even a sign.
No.
There's no caution, no nothing, no safety regulation.
Yeah, who administers this? Is this CPA? Is this the
No,
Seaport?
this is the Department of Public, the Department of Public, the Lands and Natural Resources, Fish and Wildlife section, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Or CPA. They're still counting fingers. Who is at fault here?
Well, somebody had to pay to put it in there.
Says when everything is said and done, a lot more is said than done.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, that looks terrible. And it looks unsafe, and you said, what happens if? I don't think there's an if. I think it's what happens when somebody's foot goes through there and some kid falls through there or anything.
Yeah, there's a conversation of the legislature now. Senator Cruz is on top of it now, where he's bringing the issue up, questioning Ogomoro, the Secretary of Department of Lands and Natural Resources.
Wow.
Why is it taking so long? Who is accountable for this? Because I think these monies have been disbursed out already. It's a calamity,
Well,
but there's another issue too again, and maybe tomorrow again we'll pick it up. But there's another picture, and I would like to echo out, Brad. DPL, Department of Lands, and the Department of Lands. How long does 200 agricultural homestead permits can it be executed so that we can go in there and start cleaning our agricultural homestead? I know I do understand this process. It doesn't happen overnight, but how long does it take to look at a paper at the AG's office and say, okay, give them their permit to clean. And not only that, the Kenyan Public Works should start cleaning the roads because it's overgrown and we cannot access it anymore.
No kidding. Well,
there is no equipment that they can do. These are the problems they need to iron out and include in the budget. So, like for public works, you need a sweeper to sweep the road for all those gravels on the road because you pave the road, and now you have bunch of gravels on the road, and cars going all back and forth, and big trucks going back and forth, and breaking all the newly paved roads. And plus unsafe for the motorists.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what,
there's a lot of things happening here on the island of Kenya, Brad. You need to come over and so we can really document this thing.
Well, let's do it. I was there this weekend, by the way. I was there for the 5K and for the Oktoberfest. I had my family there. We had a great time.
Oh my God! When it comes to party, Brad, and big occasion like that, we can always participate in those things, for economic growth and whatnot. But take a look at it on the brighter side, Brad. Who is more benefiting there? Only Bob Jones.
Well, that party, there was a lot of hold on one second. That party, there was a lot of folks who were involved in that too. Like the mayor's office and delegation had it. And then there were also local vendors who were there as well. And it was, this one was interesting because it was free to the community. Anybody could go and enjoy and have a good time.
Yeah, I understand, Brad. Anybody could go over there and sell their stuff and whatnot. But the person that's really making money there is Bob Jones, promoting his business and all that stuff, not the locals. If you're going to help the public, Brad, and the local small businesses there, mom and pop businesses, you should, why is Bob Jones selling his stuff there? When you're a big business, you're supposed to be helping the small business.
Well, I think that one, again, let me get on that one a little bit. With that event, again, it was with the mayor's office. They did start it 2 years prior, and they hosted it at the Triple J facility. But it became so big that they moved it to the Fiesta Grounds, and it became a community event, right? And they did have small businesses that wanted to do that. It was the first time that they were able to do that. And so they were able to invite other vendors to come out there and do that too. But I think that anybody who's going to be doing something over there is a benefit to the community. I don't live there, you know it, and you know the Tinian conversation better than I ever will. But it seems like a good thing for me. They did a 5K in the morning for like $10, and then if you registered 4 people, it was like $8. And it seemed to me like it was a good thing, like a give back thing. Like it didn't seem like it was a bad thing out there.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing or being negative, Brad, but it's a good thing. But
I'll tell you what,
at the end of the day, who's really benefiting there? Jones.
Let's talk about who's benefiting over there with the fuel. I went to put gas in the rent-a-car. It was over $7 a gallon. And on top of that, they were charging me an extra fee for using the card over there. When the whole island was out of cash at the ATM, you have to pay a fee on the gas. You come here to Saipan, you're not paying that credit card fee for the fuel. I know other businesses are. I felt like over there, it was a non-consensual relationship that I had with a fuel pump, because I feel like they are raping you guys over there at the gas station. Totally unfair. The amount that they charge you, first of all, is ridiculous. And then they're throwing in that extra fee on there for the cards. They are making money hand over fist with a captive audience, and it just seemed unfair. Like, I'm so glad that you guys have like a real legit gas station and everything, because I know you used to have more, and there's just one now. But Jeez, man, I'm telling you, it did not seem fair. And I don't know if everybody else has just gotten used to it, but it seems like you guys are like, it did not seem like a fair thing. You're well over $7 a gallon. And
$7.14 a gallon, Brad.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That is insane.
It's more than crazy. It's insane. It's brutal. Highway robbery for the public.
Yes.
For the consumer.
Literally, for people who drive on the highway, it is highway robbery.
We only have one gas station.
Yep.
And it's a monopoly.
Yeah. There's no reason why you guys should be paying $2 more a gallon. Now, I know it costs more money because they got to bring the ship over a second time, right? It's going to be more expensive than Saipan. I know that. $2 more a gallon, though. And then they're going to throw that extra fee on there. They're looking for every way. It's a business, right? It's not friendship. It's a business. I get it. But it just seems like...
Brad, every business, Brad, that you go into here, Brad, take a look at it. The U.S. Local U.S. citizens are working part-time for the businesses. Now, all the foreigners are full-time. This is where Mr. Tenorio from Saipan, a former congressman, you know, he's so damn right about go to every business and see who's employed. Where is the local U.S. citizen working at? We're all lining up food stamps. Every business, Chinese restaurant or Chinese supermarket, go and then look, it's all foreigners. Only one local working, and the rest is all Filipinos and Chinese. You know, where is our commerce here? You know.
Well, I'll tell you,
our labor.
That's where you look at what the president is doing about turning those H-1Bs into. They got to pay $100,000 to get an H-1B visa. That's going to be so. While people in the business community are definitely expressing their thoughts about it, and they might not love that idea, I think here in Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, more than anywhere in the U.S. system, it would be a game changer for local employees and for the local workforce, because now these businesses are going to have to pay more to have local folks.
I think we need to venture in NMTech on the island of Rota and Tinian. Bring an outlet out here so that we can train our people too. Because some of our people cannot, have the luxury to fly to Saipan and live in Saipan and go to NMTech.
Well, then why not here's a great project for NMTech. They could build a dorm for the students who are off island who are coming over here, just like it would be for the college.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
Ray,
and I'm not complaining, Brad. I am just going out on the concerns here so that everybody should get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, raising the awareness for these things is great. But, David, I've got to go. I had a great conversation with you today. Thanks so much for calling.
Good morning, Mariana. I hope we have infrastructures in place for the residential homestead and agriculture homesteads. And God bless. And Tinian, we need to wake up and change some of the leaderships here because they're not working the way they should be working. That is my own 2 cents, and I stand corrected. Thank you so much. Please give a town hall meeting and a feedback to the people. Let's do a big, huge, big, beautiful public hearing so that the people can raise their concern and we can hammer out all these things that are happening.
Sounds great.
And I think it's time that we have a new clinic on the island of Tinian and fix the public safety. Because the surroundings of the public safety is not safe. Thank you so much, and I hope nobody gets offended, and let's fix CNMI. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thanks for the call. All right, folks. Again, Ray, when you called earlier, when your call dropped, that other call was coming in, so I grabbed it. But thank you for your call also today. Hey, we're going to get you the latest news update from the Associated Press. It's hot off the presses, and it's coming right to you.
Thomas. Texas National Guard members have arrived in Illinois. Sagar Magani reports it's President Trump's latest effort to deploy troops to Democrat-led cities.
The military personnel are at an Army training center about 55 miles outside Illinois' biggest city.
Chicago's a great city, but you can't be a great city if you have murders and if you have a lot of problems, and they do.
The president has defied opposition to the National Guard presence from both Illinois' governor and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who says the administration has shared little information.
This is what is so difficult about this moment.
The city and state sued the administration yesterday over the deployment plan, and a judge ordered 2 days for a White House response. That came after another judge in Oregon blocked a Guard deployment to Portland. Sagar Magani, Washington.
On the government shutdown, Trump's warning there's no guarantee furloughed federal workers will eventually receive the pay they're losing. The Supreme Court's heard arguments over state bans on LGBTQ+ conversion therapy for children. The majority of the justices seem to lean in favor of the Christian counselor who's challenging them. In Egypt, the second day of indirect talks between Israel and Hamas over President Trump's proposal to end their war. At the same time, Israel's been marking the 2-year anniversary of Hamas's surprise attack on Israel that killed some 1,200 people and triggered that war. Sam Mednick reports from Hostages Square in Tel Aviv.
This is one ceremony today that is happening across the country, and these are being put on by friends and families of the bereaved. Israel's government is going to put on ceremonies and commemorate October 7th on the Hebrew date of the calendar, and this shows the division in the country. A lot of people blame Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the war and for his handling of it over the last 2 years.
This is AP News. Julie Walker has the latest on Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers want the hip-hop mogul sent to the low-security federal prison FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey to serve his 4-year, 2-month prison sentence, telling the judge the facility's drug treatment program will help him stay clean. Also Monday, President Trump told reporters that Combs had asked him for a pardon, but did not say if he would grant it.
I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
Combs was convicted in July under the Mann Act, which bans transporting people across state lines for any sexual crime. He was acquitted on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Combs has been locked up since his September 2024 arrest. His time there will be subtracted from his sentence. Julie Walker, New York.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Fox Sports Update.
Joe Flacco isn't leaving Ohio. He's just moving southwest about 4 hours. The Bengals have acquired Flacco from the Browns as Cincinnati looks to get its season back on track with Joe Burrow out indefinitely due to a toe injury. The Bengals have lost 3 straight games with Jake Browning struggling under center. Cincinnati has been outscored 113-37 during the losing streak, and Browning is coming off a 3-interception game against the Lions. Flacco started 4 games for the Browns, throwing 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions before being benched in favor of rookie Dylan Gabriel. Staying in the NFL, the Jaguars had a statement win over the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence led Jacksonville down the field in the final 2 minutes before scoring a 1-yard game-winning touchdown with less than 30 seconds remaining, despite tripping and falling to the ground on the snap.
He willed himself. He willed himself to get into the end zone. He did it all night using his legs, playing hard, playing tough, showing some fire. I think our players did feed off that and was really proud of the way he competed.
That was courtesy of the Jaguars as head coach Liam Cohen spoke with the media today. With the victory, Jacksonville moved to 4-1, matching their win total from last season, and they snapped an 8-game losing streak against Kansas City. And Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said his obscene gesture toward fans at MetLife Stadium on Sunday was inadvertent, but that didn't stop the NFL from handing down a fine. The league has fined Jones $250,000, with Jones claiming he meant to give a thumbs up to celebrating fans of the Cowboys, not the New York Jets. League spokesman Brian McCarthy said Jones is considering an appeal. It's just the latest instance of the NFL fining an owner for poor behavior. Panthers owner David Tepper was fined $300,000 for throwing a drink at fans in Jacksonville late in the 2023 season. You can listen and follow the Fox Sports Podcast at foxsports.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Will Kane Country. Watch it live at noon Eastern Monday through Thursday at foxnews.com or on the Fox News YouTube channel. And don't miss the show. Listen and follow the podcast 5 days a week at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
I'm Joe Morgan.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
Hey, bro, can I grab your bush?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Right on. Thanks, bro. Hey, bro, can I grab your bush too?
Sure, bro. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Now I can grab my own bush. Saipan, it's time to grab your bush. Pick up a 12-pack of ice-cold Bush, and you're in for more than just a refreshing beer. Every 12-pack gives you a chance to win exclusive Bush gear and more. So don't wait. Swing by your favorite store, grab your Bush, and join the fun. Because here in Saipan, the best moments are even better with Bush. Grab your Bush today.
Wake up, sunshine, it's a brand new day. Brad's got the stories that'll light your way. Take a smile on his face, he's ready to share. Share. Good morning, Marianas. Feel the love in the air. Yeah. Good morning, Marianas. Come join the fun. Together we'll shine like the morning sun.
With the waves crashing in, hear the oceans call. Brad brings the news that connects us all. From the islands to the world, those kind of weird. Good morning, Marianas, the best time of year.
Good morning, Marianas. Let's start the day. With laughter and stories, come what may.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. It's 9:43 in the morning here on Hump Day. It is Wednesday. You know, it's funny. We mentioned that we had Senator Manny Castro for tomorrow, which we do, but he showed up today, which was great. And I'm like, hey, I thought we had you for tomorrow. He's like, oh, I screwed it up. Wow, because he had an appointment with Marianas Press this morning too. It's great. I'll tell you what. The good thing is that he is out there getting the word out about his plans for that Article 12 and trying to really educate the community. And we'll be happy to have him on here tomorrow morning to talk about all that stuff too. Isn't that great to see our legislators getting out in front of the issues and getting out in front of people and taking questions and all that stuff. Now, the good thing is when we do our show, you guys can ask questions and you can call in and ask them questions. That to me is like one of the cool things about what we're doing and our platform and all that stuff. It's like a big town hall meeting. All right, well, we're going to wrap up for today because it's been a bit, and we got other stuff to get to. I think that we should really do this again tomorrow because we do it all the time. We'll be here again tomorrow. Hey, just a reminder, though, check us out. Check out our website. If you want to read the Senator Castro's initiative, you can go on nminewsservice.com and see it for yourself. And not only that, it's not just the story that you're able to read. You can read the initiative itself, the full legislation, the full documents, everything's right there. It's what you're able to get. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. You don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. You can just see that stuff for yourself. You get the story, but you get to see all the documents. That's what we bring you. We're happy to do it too. Anyway, you can do that for all the stories too. It's not just that. In fact, here, let's click on the main page. Where you can see exactly, we're actually streaming right now. Anytime we stream live, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, you're able to see it on the on our website too. Here's some of the stories that we got out there for you. Today we'll be continuing to upload stuff as it goes, including that story about that whole deal with the unpaid holidays from the governor's directive about austerity, because according to the legal counsel for the Senate, they can't do that. So this is the finding from legal counsel Joe Bermudez and what he thinks about the whole thing. So check it out for yourself. Read it. It's pretty interesting. Bottom line says, does the governor have authority not to override the regulations absent express legislative authorization? Is the directive legal? On its face, likely illegal because it conflicts with that. And can an employee file a complaint and says, yes, employees denied holiday pay would have grounds for a labor complaint and or grievance since the entitlement to holiday pay is regulatory. That's going to be interesting, folks. That is going to be interesting. All right. Well, speaking of interesting, our show is really interesting because of you. Whether you're watching, commenting, or maybe you're one of the people who called. The reason why this show works is because of you. And I love that we get to do this. I love this interaction that we get. It's not just some guy ranting. It is us ranting together and hopefully creating Bills fans out of non-believers. Okay, I get it. It hurt this week. It did. All right, guys, that's what we're going to do for today. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early. Maybe it's dark and early for Good Morning Mariana, so we'll be back again. Have a great day. I hope this is your best Wednesday of your life so far. Till next week. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care. We'll see you.
So let's get started. Woke up and smiled, the sun shining.